I discovered tennis after realizing that I didn't like contact sports. And it was really something that was new to me and new to my family. I did not come from a tennis family. I fell in love with the game as soon as I hit my first ball. And although there were not many tennis programs for kids in my area, I took to the wall of the side of my local department store and hit a lot of balls that way, and watched what little tennis there was on TV to try to learn from the pros. Just learning by trial and error until I was about 13, 14 years old, got into middle school. There was a tennis team, and I finally got some proper instruction and played middle school and high school tennis, and that led me into being a recreational tennis player as an adult. I was commissioned as an officer in the Navy at the time that I graduated from college, and I served 24 years. During my years in the Navy, there were times when I was able to play tennis because I was in a location where it was possible to do so, but for many of those years, because I was on a ship or because I was traveling or in a part of the world where there were no or few tennis courts, my tennis playing during that 20-year period was on again, off again, on again, off again. But again, I never lost the passion for the sport, and I always sought it out. And one of the things that I realized, especially during the times that I was on sea duty, was that I could go into any port in the world with my tennis bag over my shoulder and show up at any tennis facility, public or private, and say, I'm an American naval officer, I like to play tennis, would someone here like to hit with me? And it was like I had instant family. It was remarkable in that way. And that's what I think distinguishes tennis from a lot of other sports that adults play, is that affinity, that instant affinity that I experienced, not just during my Navy time, but anywhere I've gone since then and showed up looking for someone to play tennis with. Well, as I was coming to the end of my Navy career, after 24 years of service, I was trying to figure out what to do next. And my thoughts immediately turned to tennis because I knew that that was something that I was passionate about. And I thought, well, maybe there's something I can do in the tennis space, but I really didn't have an idea what that could look like. I knew there were tennis coaches, tennis instructors, I knew there were tennis clubs and facilities, and probably some management positions involved in some of that, but I really didn't know where to start. And as I started asking around, people kept mentioning the USPTA, the USPTA. So I was very intrigued and signed up to go to a local divisional convention. The workshops and other events that played out over the course of the day of that convention just blew me away. There were master professionals there and others who put on such great presentations and really opened my eyes to what it means to be a really good tennis coach. And I ended up being able to sit around a table with 5 other master pros and receive an hour's worth of counseling and mentoring. And I knew after that was over that I had to become a USPTA member, because this was the entry point for my being able to get the training, the credibility, and the mentorship that I knew that I would need to move into this space. After the Navy, I spent 12 years in the corporate sector working in the defense industry. But parallel to that, concurrent with that, was when my tennis journey really took off. And so I started to volunteer with our local USPTA division. I got involved in many of the events that they were putting on. I ended up serving on our division board for 15 years. And through the people that I met, I discovered opportunities to also volunteer with the USTA at the local level, at the sectional level, and over time, even at the national level. And I'm currently serving on a national USTA committee. So, true to one of my friends' philosophies is that, tennis is like a magic carpet. It can take you to places you'd never dreamed of. And I've experienced that many, many times over. And it all started because of my connection with the USPTA and getting certified and coming to conventions and conferences and workshops and meeting all these amazing people who have just helped me expand my network and discover opportunities to get involved, which over the past 20 years has been kind of a side gig for me as a volunteer. And it's only been recently, as I've moved into the position of being the executive director for the San Diego division, that I actually have a paid position, in tennis. But But all this volunteer work has been such a catalyst for everything that has followed. It's really been tremendous. After I got certified, I knew there might be multiple avenues to pursue, and it started with volunteering. And I just continued on the volunteer track, even though I never was a full-time teaching pro at a club. I never had a management position at a facility or at a club. I found the best way for me to give back and to leverage all of the leadership and management skills that I developed in my Navy and corporate careers was through volunteerism in tennis. And that's been plenty for me. Well, many people know me as the Wounded Warrior Tennis Guy because for the past 15 years, I've run a program that uses tennis as a means of rehabilitation and community reintegration for wounded, ill, and injured service members and veterans. I'm a co-founder of this program along with a couple of my other tennis colleagues, but I've been the director of the program for the whole time, for 15 years. This is a program that's all volunteer run. Everything that we do for the participants is free to them, and the reason it works is because we have a group of amazing volunteers throughout the San Diego tennis community who contribute to this program in all sorts of different ways. Because of our success with this Wounded Warrior tennis program, I receive calls from all over the country from people who've heard about what we're doing and want to try something similar. So it's nice to think that we have some expertise to offer, and so we're proud to say that we've helped other communities start similar programs that are still ongoing. So I enjoy being in that role as well, a bit of a mentor within this space. So one of the other things I'm involved in is collegiate tennis. And although I was not a college tennis player, and I didn't really know anything about collegiate tennis until this opportunity came up, I'm now the president of the San Diego Veterans Tennis Classic, which is an invitational tennis tournament that has a military recognition and appreciation theme running through it. And so for me, it was another opportunity to take what I knew about the Navy and the military and combine it with tennis in a way that elevates the game, that creates more opportunities for players to compete while at the same time weaving in the military connection. It's something that I never would have anticipated coming out of the Navy, that one day, because of my experience in the Navy and because of my passion for tennis, that I'd be standing in Arthur Ashe Stadium hitting tennis balls, or next door at Louis Armstrong Stadium flipping a coin to start a match at the US Open. Exaggeration to say none of this, would have happened without the, USPTA, but I can certainly say that none of this would have happened if I had not been able to establish really strong networks throughout the tennis community, and being able to come to USPTA conventions and conferences and workshops was a central part of that, for sure. Yes, I'm living my best life, and it's largely because of all the opportunities that I've had in tennis. And again, the USPTA was the starting point for me for all of this.